Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome to Club 120. The ultimate roundtable for diehard Cubs fans and lovers of all things sports and lifestyle.
Strike three, you're out.
Hosted by Neil and Nate, two former baseball players and coaches turned loud mouths with strong opinions and even stronger banner. Get ready for quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and the occasional heated debate. From analyzing Cubs on-field action to diving into off-field drama, no topic is off limits. So grab your glove, pour a drink, and pull up a seat at Club 120, where the banner's quick, the takes are hot, and the Cubs always come first. Let's get started.
Play ball.
Hello, Cubs fans. 120. You know what time it is. It's time to grab an old style and a bleacher seat. It's 120 time. Let's talk some Cubs. I'm Nate, and with me as always is a man whose mom still posts his youth trophy case on Facebook. What's on tap today, Coach?
That is a fact. That is a fact, man. Nothing better than, being 45 years old and my mom still defending me, coming to my rescue. I love it. I love it. Well, things are a little bit different this week. We are obviously live, and that's new for us. We've never done that, so we're going to try and go through the show the same way we always have. And feel free to jump in, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. The show is jam-packed, man. We're going to built for this. That's our first topic we're going to cover. Then the weakest link. Who is the weakest link? Who or what is the weakest link for the Cubs? Run for days is our next topic, then followed by upcoming moves, Lieutenant Dan, and finally a new segment for us called the Club 120 Power Poll. So that is what's going on. That's what's on tap for us. And here we go, man. We're just going to jump right into it. Built for this is the first topic. And let's be real, man. The Cubs didn't just stumble into this style of play, right? Like, the roster is built for chaos on the base paths. It's built for contact at the plate. Defense all across the diamond. Not the sexiest brand of baseball. We're not leaving the yard 5 times a night. But when you look at the way the team's grinding out wins, man, they're putting pressure on the opposing team's pitchers. Mm-hmm. What stands out to you?
Well, let's just start with where this came from, right? Last year, Wrigley was a complete negative, not just for the other team. We were terrible. And I think, quite honestly, this comes from a statistical based analysis, just like everything that comes out of the front office. They look through that scope and that lens. And I think that they said, man, this is a negative and we could be better. And this is one area that we can improve. And I think they took the data and they said, okay, what kind of player do we need to bring in to fill some holes? I think they said, okay, now let's take the data to council and to D. Kelly. And I think they got them to buy in. And they said, this is how we can make Wrigley a positive. And we're going to need to change some approaches. We're going to need to change some mindset, and that starts with those guys. And kudos to D. Kelly to have grown men change their swing and their approach, and really to build a team aspect of what this is. And so now that's what we have. We've got guys that'll slash the other way. We got guys that aren't afraid to put a bunt down. We've got speed up and down the lineup. I mean, heck, even our catchers are getting, triples as part of the cycle. They made this a positive, and kudos to those guys for bringing it out and executing it. And we're seeing it day in and day out. When they start doing that stuff, there's nothing more fun. You've tweeted it. This is fun. They built a team, quite honestly, that a baseball purist would love. Hit a little bit, put a lot of balls in play, fight, take an extra base. What's not to love about that? I mean, you have to love this as a Cubs fan. No matter how many times you watch it, if you turn it on, you're bound to be excited about something.
Yeah, no, they're fun to watch. So with that being said, let's move to our next topic. Like, what's the weakest link?
Let's go right in on it. My weakest link, I'm going to go right to it. It's Craig Counsell right now. Craig Counsell is the weakest link. His bullpen management has been piss poor. He's yo-yoed a guy. He yo-yoed a major league pitcher like this was high school. Hey, go get up, little Billy. Okay, oh, we can't use you yet, little Billy. Hey, Julian, get up. Julian, get up again. The dude was up 6 times in 2 games, and then he said, well, I can't throw again, and we needed him. So that's on Craig. He doesn't know who to bring in first. He doesn't know how to get to where he wants to go right now, and that's really, really frustrating for him to not understand the game situation and translate that into helping these guys execute, because that's all he has. When you call their number and what order you call them, that's the only thing the manager can do. And I think right now he needs to step up with that.
Yeah.
What about where do you find our chink in the armor right now?
Well, so here's the thing. Like, you're watching a game, man, you're watching all these defensive plays. You watch them come in, you put points, you put runs on the board. You're moving runners, you're doing the right things, you're playing the game. You can feel the momentum building throughout the game, and then that bullpen door swings open. And it's like a collective gasp in the stadium. It's a collective gasp in your living room, wherever you're watching. It's like, oh geez, who now? Who? And so far this season, the bullpen's been the one part of this machine that keeps misfiring, and leads are slipping, command is inconsistent, and right now there's no go-to guy outside of who I would consider Porter Hodge is the strongest point guy in our bullpen right now. And his last outing wasn't great, but I mean, we're talking about a chopper that, and then a bloop single or off, which was a business decision on Kyle Tucker's part, whether he wants to lay out and make that play or not. And this early in the season, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So every good team has to have a good back end of the bullpen, and that for us to take the next step, I think we're going to have to get that sorted out. And I think we're close. I think we're about to see some guys maybe come off the we'll talk about that later in the upcoming move segment. But I think we're going to see some guys come off of an injured list soon that maybe move some guys around.
So at least some chess pieces, right? They're not going to sit here and wait for these guys to figure it out. Craig certainly doesn't have the time to do it. Jed doesn't have the time to do it. So, everybody seems like they're on the run for something right now, which kind of brings us to our next topic. The Cubs are fun to watch because they are running. They are tied for the major league lead in stolen bases. And it seems like every time you look up, there's somebody on first ready to go. There's a lot of team speed. What do you feel like? How long can they keep this up? Is this a new identity for the Cubs? Are they going to run all the way to the NL Central right now?
Well, here's the thing, man. The team has wheels, and they are not afraid to use them. I mean, they are flying around on the base paths. They're forcing mistakes. They're creating runs out of nothing, and it's electric. It's not just swiping bags. It's first to third hustle. It's scoring on contact. It's putting defenders on edge every single inning. It's not just speed, though. It seems like it's a mindset. It's Quentin Berry. It's a green light mentality. And right now they are just running all over teams. And I'm here for it.
Absolutely. I think the best part, and I think you alluded to it, it's not just the bags that are swiped. It's them beating out the force play at second base. I don't know, 6 times last week or, in the first 10 games. It's crazy how, that's normally just a pull up, peel off, type of deal. And they are taking every 90 hard. And you got to love that. You got to love every 90 hard. Because everybody's got to make a play. That's not an easy flip from short to second anymore. At the end of an inning, you got to fire that thing across. So, if the long play is now the safest play, that's a dangerous thing for a defense, right? You can't flip it to second anymore. You can't take the short bag because they're on it. Good luck, because if we are going to run this much and we're going to put that much pressure on, there's very few catchers, especially the way the game is set up now, where you can't keep picking off. You can't step off more than, the disengagement rule. Man, if they're this good right now, holy cow, just wait till they get scouting reports on these new catchers, these pitchers. Heck, we haven't even started playing the Central yet. So, our non-conference schedule is fantastic. And I love that we get a whole summer full of NL Central baseball, to the point where, if we're doing this now in this tough a schedule, we should be able to be ready to punch these dudes in the mouth when it comes time. So bring on Skeens, bring on Lodolo, bring on those guys, and let's just get going.
On to the next topic then is upcoming roster moves. Let's talk about that for a second. I'm gonna throw some stuff out there, and you tell me what maybe corresponding moves or what you think. Obvious move that just came down the pipe yesterday. Justin Steele is going to the 15-day IL. Ethan Roberts was activated. In my opinion, there's plenty of other guys down there that should have been activated prior to Ethan, but he got the nod. Brujan's going to come off the IL soon. Yep. Is he going to make an impact? Who we trading off there? Luke Little's coming off the IL soon. Is he there to stay? Is he coming here? Is he going to AAA? And then here's the two guys that I think are expendable, and then I'll let you go. Eli Morgan is, I think, when Luke Little's activated or Brujan comes, I think Eli Morgan is getting sent down to AAA. He's got plenty of moves left, and I think we'll see him go down. But the problem is Gage Workman. When Brujan or Luke Little, either one, get activated, the corresponding move, if it is Gage Workman, what happens since he's Rule 5? I mean, he goes back to Detroit. Are we okay with that?
Sure. Well, let's go with the straightaway stuff before we get to the complicated. Justin Steele to the IL. He's going to miss a couple starts. This week, though, his spot was already done, right? So the Cubs won't need a starting spot until Monday or Tuesday, depending on how they want to roll it. So you could see that, and that's why you see Roberts here this weekend. Okay. I think he's going straight back to Iowa. I think he's going to get maybe an inning or two here this weekend, depending on status. But he's the most frequently, used. He's got his frequent flyer pass going. And I think we're going to see that a lot with him. So the next guy up, though, I do believe, honestly, is not going to be Colin Ray. Everybody's thinking, we already got it built in. Yes, we are built for this, but we already have two guys with over 100 innings worth of major league ready stuff sitting there at AAA. Both are coming. Jordan Wicks has 9 scoreless innings at AAA right now. They're holding him back for the weekend just in case to see where he needs to go. I anticipate that going to be the case. And then if this happens anymore, we're going to see more of Javi Assad as well. This is going to get real crowded and real complicated real quick. Next up, Luke Little. Man, that's an interesting one. I think he goes back to AAA just to get started and get his legs back underneath him. And they're just monitoring a situation here. I think it's a straight change with Theobar and Little. I don't know if it's a different scenario. You brought up the Morgan deal. I think the Little and Theobar are completely correlated to each other, and I think Morgan kind of is going to be back and forth. I think he's got stuff. I just don't think he's figured out how to use it, and with us at least. I think he was very effective last year, right? I just don't think he's been used appropriately in some of these early leverage situations where it's like, oh, hey, he's our new guy, and we really like him, and that was just the wrong part of the lineup to put him in. He should have came in first when he came in second on the game. He got absolutely hammered. I mean, the Padres couldn't touch a changeup.
Right.
Why is Morgan not the next guy out? They've already shown for the first 6 innings they can't do nothing, and this guy, all he does is just come in and just change. Let's just get 3 outs and move on. Like at that point, we're going 3 outs or 3 runs, and you already set him up to fail. So the final one is really complicated, man, because it's going to break a lot of Cubs fans' hearts. Because the rules of baseball state that if Gage Workman leaves. We want Gage Workman to not be on the 26-man roster. We must return him and a bag of $50,000 cash back to Detroit or wherever they came from as far as Rule 5. So in this instance, he would be back to Detroit, and they can choose to do with him what they want. Gage Workman needs 500 minor league at-bats. Let's be honest, right? Like, that was fun in the spring. He hammered minor league pitching, didn't do so great against the big league stuff, and I think that's what we're seeing now. Right? It's good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And that's painful to watch. But he's a kid, and I would just wish that the rules would say, hey, we wanted him. We want to keep him. We would just like him to go to AAA and get a whole bunch of E's. We just can't. So that's going to hurt, and that's going to be a direct deal with Brujan. I think Brujan's going to get a few games this weekend, and then I think this is the last swan song for Gage, Tater, Workman in a Cubs uniform. And that's going to hurt. It sucks because he's a good kid, and he really did. That's a tough climb to go from nothing to major league roster, and he did it. So
yeah, well, the only thing, one thing is that Jed is really good at working these type of things out with. I'm not going to say they're backdoor deals, but they sometimes very much seem like they're backdoor deals.
Yeah, the considerations.
Right. So I don't know. I don't think it might be one of those things where he does go back to Detroit, he gets DFA'd, and then we pick him up
mysteriously. It's back here,
and then we can send him to Iowa. So I don't know. It may not be the end of him, but all right. Let's move on to a topic that I am really excited to get to. Lieutenant Dan. How about Dansby Swanson? I mean, man. He's been everything we've wanted from him since we got him, I think. In my opinion, he's been obviously rock solid at shortstop, and that's never changed. But he's been now. I mean, now it seems like every big moment he comes to the plate, he knows exactly who he is. He knows what he's going after. He's setting the tone, and his approach, his attitude. He seems like the captain of this team.
Now, I think that's the question, right? Is Dansby Swanson the captain of the Cubs?
I would say it would be him or Ian Happ. Ian Happ has showed, which I'll be honest with you, before this, we always joke that we don't know if Ian Happ has teeth. You never see the guy smile or anything. He's all business all the time, and he's very quiet. Doesn't seem like he talks much, but we've seen leadership just in the short 15 games we've played so far. We've seen him exhibit some real leadership qualities. And I think it's obvious that it was there in the past. It just wasn't, a focal point, but all the guys respect him. So that leadership has always been there, I think. It's just not been on display. But I would think.
Right? Like, that's Ian. Ian is just – he's at a 7 at all times, right? I mean, he's not going to run around like his hair's on fire. And also he's not going to – if he takes an offer, he's not moping around the clubhouse. And we saw it the other day. You pointed it out. Ian went and talked to Ben Brown after he had a rough first, right? He's in the end of the dugout working on him there. But back to Dansby, when you think about the captain, you want that never-changing scenario, but at the same point, it seems like Dansby has some level of elevation with him as far as he's playing better and the team's playing better. And it's like it's it's not an all boats rise with the tide thing, because I think we already have our tide and we know who that is. He's out in the right field. The tide is out there, but I think Dansby's one of those elite level players that can really bring it and helps, supply energy to others, right? When your shortstop is just diving all over the place and he's banging doubles off the wall, that's what your shortstop's supposed to do. Put the C on his chest and let's call him the captain, right? Like let him be that guy. And I'm okay with that. What health does, right? Like last year, I think we saw Dansby at 75% all year. The normal, just a blah Dansby, because he was never healthy. He was nowhere explosive. And now we see it. The range is even better this year. He's exploding off of balls. He's on the front side, barrels out. That's the Dansby, like you said. That's the $177 million Dansby we paid for. And he's bringing it every day, and it's going to be hard to get him out of the lineup now, and that's great. Him in the 5-hole makes everything just so much better. And to your point, I think you made the best point of it all. His timely hitting might be his best asset right now.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: if you this was before. I haven't looked at it since. I think Pete might be outpacing him now, but if you look at before Wednesday's game, if before going into Wednesday's game, if you'd said, how's Dansby's season going at the plate? Yeah. You'd say, oh, Dansby, I mean, he's a lot better than last year. He's performing well, and he's getting a lot of hits, getting on base. And then you'd say, well, how's Pete Crow Armstrong doing at the plate this year? And you'd be like, oh, man, he's struggling to get going. He's really having a hard time getting on base. He's really struggling to get it going, but I feel like he's going to get there. And prior to Wednesday's game, they both really had the same line. So I think that speaks a lot towards when Dansby's getting hits.
Yes.
And I think that's why we feel there's a difference there, because several times now Dansby's come through in the clutch, and it makes the weight of each hit, it weighs more.
Yeah, absolutely. That one he crushed the other night to center was just, it was an out, but any other day that thing is rattling off the ivy, and it's probably an easy triple, maybe an in the Parker. Just the way he hit it. He hit that thing so hard. Man, Wrigley was just such a tough park this weekend to play in. And I really thought that there was no, they didn't look cold at all.
Right.
It's like they went around and said, nobody says the word cold, period. Like the next person says cold owes, $1,000 in the pot, that was a mindset this week, and I thought they did a bang-up job of doing that. So we'll have to get into ballpark talk, because I think there's some ballparks at some point that we want to break down as far as good or bad. They did that this week with the number one parks to play in. So I think that might be something we could do. But we do have something already prepared for this week, our Club 120 Power Poll. Brand new segment. Tell us all about it.
So the Club 120 Power Poll, man. So here's an interesting – I'm going to give you the top 6, and then let's go from there, because there's some interesting let's just say some outliers that I can't wait to get your thoughts and feelings on. So number 1, obviously, is the Major League Baseball conglomerate, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 2 is the Phillies. Number 3 is the Yankees. I feel like those 3 are dead on. I feel like Major League Baseball has pretty much nailed the top 3 with their power rankings. Here is where it gets fun. Number 4, the San Diego Padres. Number 5, the Texas Rangers. And number 6, the Chicago Cubs.
Well, these clearly came out before we played them, right? Like they had to be done with this before we took 2 from both of those guys, right?
I believe they came out on Tuesday.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess if you're still banking, I mean, this is like preseason rankings too, right? Like there's still these like biased thoughts from preseason to now. Okay, I guess so. Because if you had me 15 games in and the Cubs in the top 5, 6, I'd be ecstatic. I'm kind of mad now, right? Like I see that at 6 and I'm mad, but realistically, 3 weeks ago, coming back from Japan, would you have said we're the top 5 or 6 teams in the bigs?
No.
So what are we bitching about? So
no, and I'm not. I'm just what I'm saying is like you almost. I mean, we're two bad Sunday. Well, a bad Sunday and a bad Wednesday from sweeping both the Padres and the Rangers.
absolutely.
Here's the thing. I think everyone is in the same position because we've seen this movie before. We've seen this film before. Like, and we start the season with Rosenthal doing some puff piece about how terrible Ricketts is. It's like the Cubs being bad and the Cubs not being good is good for is good for Major League Baseball. Like, I don't know. I don't get that narrative. I don't understand it.
But the Cubs, right? It's the wait till next year mentality. That's always been the narrative, and Rosenthal's an old head, so I can see him playing off of that. Man, I don't know. Maybe they are the best. Where would you put them today, right now? As we head into LA, I mean, we're live right now, so we already know that we did that. So like we're live heading to LA. Where would you honestly put the Cubs in that list? Would you change it?
Yeah, because I think the games were real. Like, I mean, like you don't take 2 out of 3 from both of those both of those teams if you're not better than they are. Now, will that change next week after we play the Padres again at their place? Maybe it will, but that's why they put these rankings out weekly. Here's the thing with I saw this today. That the only I don't know, I can't remember the context of which, but there's 3 teams with 9 wins or more in the NL East. Or no, NL West. Sorry,
West. Yeah, it would be Giants and Padres and Dodgers have 10. Yeah,
9 wins or more. There's 3 teams, and like that division is insane.
And then you got to go to the East. I mean, when I was making this list, I mean, we said, hey, let's do a power poll. I'm sorry, it was all National League teams. The only one that I would tip my hat to in the American League this week, quite honestly, is the Anaheim Angels, thanks to Kyle Hendricks' 1.64 ERA. Tip your hat to Hendo, right? Like, good for him. Good for the Angels.
That won't last. You and I both know that won't last.
They have Mike Trout, sir.
Mike Trout is a ground ball away from missing 65 games.
Oh, okay. All right. Over under 135 games for Mike Trout this year.
Under.
Wow. That's giving him 3 different IL stints.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know, dude. I mean, and that's the same roster who's carrying what's his face? Rendon or whatever.
Well, yeah, the guy that doesn't play games.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a requirement in Anaheim, I think.
Well, their trainer should be fired. They need a whole new training program. But yeah, I mean that's. But yeah, tip your hat to the Angels for a nice hot start. No, it won't last. You're right. They haven't played the Rangers yet. They have, that division is good. But given the way we've played so far, I think the Cubs, honestly, on that list, I think they come in at 3. Based on that, it's the Dodgers until somebody beats them bad, and I think the Phillies would be the second best team. And I think right now the way the Cubs started would be 3. After that, I think the Giants. I don't think the Padres are there. I know they got a hot start, but I think did they start with Oakland? They played somebody early and they just pounded them. So in the end, that's this week, next week, everything will weigh out. I mean, we've got a big weekend here. We could end up in the bottom third by the end of this week. So let's be honest. The Dodgers pushed Yamamoto back, so we'll see Yamamoto, Sasaki, and it looks like who's on Sunday? One of their other Glass, one of their other young winners.
Right.
Speaking of trophy cases, can you imagine that pitcher's room? Jeez, oh Pete.
I mean, according to Jan, they have nothing left to prove.
Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing left to prove.
Okay,
Just
so
out an inning, then prove that.
Right, prove to me that you can get 3 outs an inning, and then we'll post a picture of your trophies. How about that? What?
It's unbelievable. I can't. How do you? We have so many guys right now. We're back to the bullpen. Sorry, folks. We're back. It's like we're back. How can you not trust guys to get 3 outs before they give 3 runs? Like, how is it so hair-raising that you can't trust grown men who get paid millions of dollars to do this for a living to get 3 outs before they give up 3 runs? And we've done that in multiple instances this year. It is wild.
Yeah, I don't know.
Therapist, like what do you change? Like what has to change there? Honestly, you've coached. You've
No, that's the thing is like because I don't think it's I don't know if it's something going on in the bullpen or what, but like I don't think it's Tommy. And we as an organization, like we have made a huge investment in pitching. Like we've hired all these guys from what's it called, Driveline and I mean, and you tweet it all the time during games. It's not just the bullpen that can't just go out there and 3 up, 3 down. Like,
no, I started keeping track of that shutdown inning. It shows me, honestly, it's a mental thing. It really is, because we're weak against the 9-hole. We're weak with 2 outs. We're weak against leadoff batters of an inning. We give up easy stuff that way. And we honestly, when it comes to the pressure, the last 9 outs, the last third of a ball game, that's a whole nother, the pressure's there. It's like what you're saying. The hardest out to get is what?
The next one.
No, but we're thinking the 9th inning is the hardest out. We're in the 7th. Let's get these 3.
Yeah, no, I mean the hardest out to get is always the next one, right?
Honestly, would you be willing, as a manager at this point, to deploy a different strategy with the bullpen and just say, it's the 6th. These are the 3 most important outs. This is when my guy is coming in.
I mean, that's the thing. I gotta see somebody out there that can do it.
What changed with this team last year?
I don't know, but something happened, didn't it? 21 blown saves, something like that, 24 in a row before they finally figured it out, and then they had 3 in the last half of the season. What? Yeah, I don't know. Somebody catered some Italian beefs to the locker room. I don't know.
Yes. Shout out to Portillo's for fixing our bullpen last year. Something. Yeah. But I mean, there was a moment last year. I remember. I don't know if it was Elise or if it was Taylor who said in her interview, they're nasty. They know that the next guy coming out is just nasty. That is not the case this year. Like they are paper mache tigers down there if they think that they're nasty.
No, I agree. All right. Well, so that's pretty much it. Let's finish with something non-baseball related.
Okay.
The Masters are on today. Who you got? Who's winning the Masters?
Well, you asked earlier if I had to put everything on it, my Club 120 paycheck on this. You got to get one guy, and my guy is Scotty. I think if you got to go with one, you go with good insurance. And the thing about Augusta, I think I sent this to you earlier, is you don't have to be great at all the phases of golf. You just have to be pretty good at them all week. And Scotty is really good at all the things. He doesn't have to be great. He doesn't have to hit the ball far. He just, that's his game. So 4 under today. I think he's going to go, by Sunday, we're looking at, double digits underneath, under par. I think that's my guy. Who do you go with? Well, what's your guy?
To me, if you can hit a hole in one over your house, you can win the Masters. So I'm gonna go DeChambeau, man. I don't know something. Here's the thing. I used to be Camp Brooks Koepka, and then I just happened to get lucky enough to get fortunate enough to be in the same room as both of these guys on a random whim, and my allegiances have completely changed based on human interaction. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But just one guy makes you. He just makes you want to root for him. And I hope he wins. I really do. I hate the whole live thing. I hate all that. And I hate how it kind of even made that, that riff there. It kind of made that grow bigger, but he really is a great dude. And I hope he wins.
What you really like about the Masters that makes it so unique is that these guys are there. This is the only time of the year that we get to see them all together again. And it makes it such an elite tournament. I mean, every group's got a dude in it now. And this is the way golf should be. I hope that they can figure this out here in the next couple of years. It looks like everybody's contracts are about to expire with LIV. Not to get into golf talk here too much, but I do have one though. To just stay here if we got some time here, Neil. You tweeted this out earlier. Who was your dad's favorite golfer growing up?
Yeah, so I saw your response. It's pretty much the same, but that was later. So my guy was my dad's favorite guy was obviously Jack, as I was really little, and then the older I got, it became Freddie. So it was Jack to start with, and then it was Freddie.
Well, that's a really good. So you would have been Team Jack then. Speaking of these teams, right?
Yeah, probably. Who wasn't Team Jack back then, right?
Before there was Tiger and Phil, you were raised to either be Jack or
No, I wasn't. No, Jack was done by the time I was.
Sure.
I don't know how old you think I am, but geez.
Okay, but I still remember, and here's why. And I was raised to be Team Arnie, even though yes, you're right. They were basically playing skins games by the time we were golf conscious. But your dads talk about them all the time. I was raised to be Team Arnie, and here's why. Arnie is from Western Pennsylvania. His golf club is Latrobe, which is where the Steelers have their deal, and Arnie's got a big plot out there. Anyways, my grandfather was the foreman of Bethlehem Steel back in the day, and he was at a different club up the hill, and they got wind that Arnie was going to shoot a commercial down there at his club. And so he always joked, I got to meet Arnie Palmer riding a tractor. And he said he was just a great dude, and they got to spend the morning with him while he was shooting this Toro commercial or whatever. But we always got to hear about that. But Arnie was a big one. For me, it was Freddie. Growing up in Dallas, right, moving to Dallas when I was a kid, man, the golf scene here has been so wild for the longest time. I mean, you got Lee Trevino, Freddie Couples, even now to today where you got Spieth and DeChambeau and Scotty Scheffler literally on the same block. Like they live on the same block. So it's always been that way. So it's been a lot of fun hearing golf talk since I was a kid, because for whatever reason, my dad, no, not kidding, I think he felt like Fred Couples or Tom Kite or Payne Stewart, any of the Dallas golfers, he felt like that was good for us, some middle America family. Like apparently them winning millions of dollars raised our gross domestic product of playing.
Of course, absolutely.
I was just like, okay, but that's what it felt like. It was like, man, that's good for golf. That's good for us. I'm like,
victory through osmosis.
Yes. It's like, all right, that's cool. But yes, that's a good one. What about your favorite baseball player? What about your dad's favorite baseball player? Like the one guy he was like, man, I watched this guy play. We loved it.
No, that's easy, man. My dad, it's weird. I was raised to be a Reds fan. So my dad's the Big Red Machine. It was Johnny Bench. It was Joe Morgan. It was Pete Rose. Those guys. And then I grew up, obviously Eric Davis and trying to emulate that batting stance. So obviously until I was probably 14 years old, I was late to everything, just pelting the ball to right field because I couldn't get out of that stupid batting stance.
Awesome. That's great. Oh man. Mine
so I was a Reds fan, and then WGN, right? Like I was 12 years old, and I remember I would watch WGN all day long, waiting for the Cubs to play the Reds.
Yeah.
And and then when the Reds would finally play the Cubs, I would find myself rooting for the Cubs because those were the guys that I watched 162 times a year. And I knew them. And so then I remember thinking to myself, wait a second, I think I'm a Cubs fan. And it's been that way ever since, man.
I love it. No, that's we both found our way there. We kind of wandered our way over here. Growing up in Pittsburgh, being from there. But for me, same thing. 12 years old. That was the Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla sell-off. When you're 12 and your baseball team sells out on you, what's left? And it's the same scenario. What's on TV? WGN. It's just constant, and makes it easy to familiarity, and it brings it there. So that's good. But my dad's guy, he used to go sit in the right field at Forbes, and see Roberto Clemente, and those stories. My uncle, before he passed, he gave me his 2 Roberto Clemente cards. That was
nice.
really cool.
Nice.
So there was definitely a huge Roberto Clemente, and obviously you can't really hear of a better guy.
Right.
When you hear these kids today talking about, hey, I like this guy or that guy, and then you look it up and you're like, man, this guy's, he's what it is. But Roberto Clemente was a good human and such a great deal. So that was cool to get all those stories about sitting in right field and just watching him gun dudes down off the wall and right. So that was fun.
All right. Well, hey, man, that is the end of the show. That is all we have. And obviously, this was the first time we've ever done this live. So thanks to anybody who joined. And this may be something we do semi-regularly. I don't know that I can say the word regularly. Anyway, that's all we got. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the flip side. Go Cubs, go.
Absolutely. Go Cubs, go.
This has been Club 120. Neil and Nate have practically spent their entire lives doing something centered around baseball. And with these guys, you're going to get quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and, yes, heated debates. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. And, of course, the website at www.club120show.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go!